This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1255, Playing Offense in Retirement, Part 2, by Chris Mamula of CanIRetireYet.com. And hi again, I am your host and narrator of the show. My name's Dan, and I'm here every single day reading to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. As you might have guessed by my saying Part 2, this is actually a continuation post from yesterday, so if you are new here, it'd be best to listen to that one first. That's episode 1254. But if you're all caught up, let's move right along to Part 2 as we continue optimizing your life. Playing Offense in Retirement, Part 2, by Chris Mamula of CanIRetireYet.com. Errors in our first 2 years semi-retirement plan. My wife and I spent several years researching and planning for early retirement. Despite that, in just 9 months between telling my employers I would be leaving my job on February 28th and before actually leaving my job on December 1st, 2017, our plans changed dramatically. My initial plan was to ease into retirement by finding casual part-time work or possibly working a couple weeks a year doing a travel rotation as a physical therapist. Doing so would allow me to test the waters of early retirement for a few years, easing financial strain, avoiding sequence of returns risk, and providing a more gradual psychological transition. In spring 2017, I pitched an idea for a book I'd been wanting to write to the guys who created the Choose FI podcast, and they agreed to partner with me. A few months later, I read one of Darrow's posts and sensed he might be burning out on writing and managing a blog of substantial size, so I proposed a scenario for partnering on the blog, and he agreed to do it. I decided to completely leave my career as a physical therapist to focus on these passion projects. I've spent my first 2 years of early retirement working much more and earning much less, at least in the short term, than I anticipated in our original planning. Housing budget. We closely tracked our expenses for 5 years leading up to starting our transition. Our goal for the first few years of our transition was to stop saving, but not draw down investments, plus or minus a few $1,000s in either direction. Despite our detailed planning, our projections have been off significantly. In 2018, the biggest miscalculation was a positive one. We were able to sell our home without having to use a real estate agent. This saved us about $15,000 we expected to spend and gave us a significantly positive savings rate for the year. 2019 has been a far different story. We downsized with our new home, thinking it would give us the lifestyle we desired. We love our location and like having less space to maintain, but hated how inefficiently that space was used in the dated floor plan. So we've spent this summer working through a major home renovation. When it's done, we'll have spent over $30,000 we didn't anticipate spending on renovations in the first year living in our move-in ready house. This means taking more from our portfolio than we anticipated. New hobbies and interests. We moved from Pennsylvania to Utah to be in the mountains and pursue a lifestyle of outdoor adventure. While we get out into the mountains with regularity, as planned, we are not doing what we would have predicted in the mountains. My wife and I envisioned doing a lot of rock climbing with abundant opportunities surrounding us, but the combination of having a young child and my wife's struggles with repetitive hand injuries make climbing regularly a challenge. So I've become an avid mountain biker, riding 2 to 3 days every week. My wife also has started riding a bit, and she has also found a love of trail running. We also decided to try growing our own food this year. This was something we have talked about for years, but never seriously considered until my daughter got interested after planting a garden at her school. It has turned out to be an incredibly fun and rewarding experience for our family. New hobbies, even when pursued with a frugal mindset, come with costs. We bought a mountain bike for my wife. She also got running spikes for the months when the trails are icy. My free bike from a friend has still cost me close to $1,000 in upgrades and maintenance. We also bought a bike rack for our car, helmets, and other accessories related to our new hobbies, costing thousands of dollars. We bought lumber to build garden boxes and had a couple tons of dirt hauled in before buying plants and seeds, then spending the summer watering them. Our free vegetables cost us well over $1,000 as well. Be humble, live large. As I approach 2 years since leaving my career, I would advise others contemplating the retirement decision to be humble. Retirement planning comes with a lot of uncertainty. You have to embrace the fact that there is a lot you don't know and can't predict. The alternative is to spend your life trapped in fear. That fear can prevent you from leaving your career, or it can manifest as constant anxiety around spending in retirement. Neither is desirable. I would also advise you that you live large. It doesn't make sense to do everything it takes to escape mandatory work if you're going to trap yourself in a life constrained by a tight budget with no room to grow, explore, and pursue new opportunities as they present themselves. These seemingly contradictory pieces of advice have the same solution. Don't limit your view of retirement. Continue to play some offense. Never stop growing and learning. Consider fun and interesting ways to earn some ongoing income. Give yourself options. Life is more fun when you're playing to win rather than trying not to lose. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled Playing Offense in Retirement by Chris Mamula of CanIRetireYet.com. And that's another episode and weekend of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. I sincerely thank you, as always, for your support and for listening each and every day. And I'll be back with more posts for you tomorrow. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you back here on Monday, where your optimal life awaits.